And long queues of enthusiastic voters were seen all over the Union Territory, showcasing the spirit of democracy as voters lined up at polling stations to cast their vote.
I am casting vote for the purpose of peace, prosperity and development. There are several minor issues which can be resolved by electoral process. I ask all the electorates to come from their homes and cast their valuable votes and elect their good representative who is the honest, faithful towards the general public.
Yeah, this is Roof Farmer. Actually, we have been waiting for 10 years and it was our democratic right. And as you know, people were suffering. So that's why you can see the crowd behind me. Everyone has come out and they are voting for their favorite candidate. You can see youth are participating. This time, I think more than 50% youth are participating. Before that, I think youth, they were not interested. But this election has been after 10 years, so I think youth are coming out and they are voting for their favorite candidates.
All right, we'll go across to J&K, where Shabir Dar is joining us from Kulgam, and also Tahir Nadeem Khan is joining us from Bhadarwah. Shabir, I'll come to you first. Tell us the atmosphere there. Are people coming out in big numbers to vote?
Yeah, absolutely, in big numbers. This is a festival-like, scenario in Kashmir, as we are seeing that, the huge participation of voters, particularly the youngsters. In every polling booth, you can see long queues lined up outside the polling booths, and people are coming in rows. This is the show of democracy, the unprecedented show Kashmiri seen after many, many years. Because we have seen that in Kashmir earlier, the voting would mean that there is a complete ban on the day, but this time the voters are showing their commitment towards the democratic process. They are giving the message that their issues, their solution lie in participating in the democratic process. And we have seen that ample security arrangements are in place. The administration is keeping every facility available to make this electoral process go smoothly and peacefully.
All
so
right.
Till 1 p.m. we have seen the 41% polling has been recorded till 1 p.m. This shows that as day progresses, the voting percentage will cross all previous records.
Right, voter turnout, like you're saying, has been good so far. But tell us, who are the prominent candidates from Kulgam, and also how do you see the contest overall?
Yeah, Kulgam is a very interesting constituency because we have the only CPM candidate who has been winning here from last 3 elections is Mr. Mohan Yusuf Tarigami is contesting. Against him is the PDP, and an independent candidate is making his presence felt in the constituency because a youngster who is, actually backed by the Bayan Jamaat Islami, he is also in the fray, and he has been able to canvass large, huge crowds during the campaigning process. And this time, it is the competitive show of politics in Kulgam particularly, because people from all ideologies, from all political parties are trying to, outdo their opponent. They are coming in rows. So Kulgam is giving a message that democracy and participation in political process is the solution to all issues facing common people.
All right, Shabir, we'll leave it at that for the time being, but yes, we'll keep taking updates from you. We'll go across to Tahir now. He's at Bhadarwah. Tahir, first of all, tell us about the voter turnout there. People coming out in big number to vote there?
Abhishek, I have just received a communique from Information Department, and the latest figure is that 51% polling station has been done in 3 constituencies of district Doda, with Doda West is the highest, where 54% voters have already been casted, and in Doda East there is a percentage is around 49.3, and in Bhadarwah it's 51.7. So overall it is 51%, and hopefully by 6 p.m. when the voting will be closed, ballot boxes will be closed, it will be nearly 85%, which is unprecedented in the recent times. In parliamentary elections in these constituencies, the voting percentage was just about 69%, and this time, as the administration was hoping, district election office was hoping, the way they have carried out the sweep campaign in all over the district and in fact even entire Chenab region. They were hoping it will be 85%, and that seems to become a reality. The way voters are coming in large numbers. We talked to some young voters. In fact, two sisters, Michelle and her elder sister, 20 and 18-year-old. They have traveled all the way from Amritsar to exercise their franchise of vote. They casted their vote here in Sarafa Mohalla. So that shows the commitment of the voters. If we talk about the elder voters in Gatha Pink polling station, if Shanti Prakash Pandit, he is 96 years old, he was being given the opportunity to cast vote from his home, but instead he decided not to go with the home voting and come to the polling station to show to the world that how much they were waiting for the vote. And similarly, 91-year-old female Mariam Begum voted at a red polling station at Badarwa in Badarwa town. So the way each and every this ethnic group, or you can say in diverse section of society, they are coming in such a large numbers. It clearly seems that is going to shatter all the record. Not only this, Abhishek, there are in Bhadarwa constituency, if you're talking, there are 6 polling stations which are located above the height of 11,000 feet above sea level. That is Bhatkai, B, Kotata, Kaljugasar, Shingni, Gudekha, these kind of polling stations. The reports from there are coming are even bigger. Their polling percentage in that polling station is above 60%, and that has become only possible because those people traditionally live in high altitude meadows with cattle during summers, and they come down only in the month of October.
Polling percentage, like you're saying, voter turnout has been good so far, over 50%, you are saying, but this area has seen frequent gun battles, I mean, elaborated security arrangements have been put in place for the assembly polls. I mean, tell us what is being done to maintain vigil in the volatile pockets.
Obviously, the multi-tier security has been put in place. The day elections was announced on 16th of August. From that day, security forces are being sent to those volatile places, as you said, because in the last 6 months, we have seen 7, 8 these terrorist attacks in these areas, encounters rather you can say, in which some security personnel lost their lives, and even terrorist group 3, consisting 3 in Gundu area, they were eliminated. So after a long time, there were insurgency and those terrorist kind of incidents. That is why there was some apprehension that they will try and disturb the this poll process. But the way multi-tier security has been put in place, CAPF, J&K police and JKP, they are all there making huge circles of security that had brought in the confidence of the people. That is why in the high altitude areas like which I have named, even in those area, voters are coming in large numbers to vote. That is only because of the multi-tier security and the way administration has gone all out to get the confidence of the people that they are safe and secure. No one is going to disturb them. That's why the kind of response we are getting in this election.
All right, Tahir, stay with us. I'll come back to you. Meanwhile, let me introduce our guest. Senior journalist Aditi Tandon is joining us from New Delhi. Welcome, Aditi. Welcome. Appreciate you giving us your precious time. The polls are taking place after a decade and would count as the first regional elections in the UT after the abrogation of Article 370. And people are coming out to vote in big numbers, like our reporters are also saying. The voter turnout has been good so far, which is a good news too.
Yeah, I think this is along the same lines as we saw in the Lok Sabha elections, where the voter turnout had exceeded 58%. And that was the highest in about 35 years. And the Election Commission had said that it had made foolproof arrangements for security. So as you said, Abhishek, that this particular election is a watershed election for several reasons. One, of course, it is the first election after the abrogation of Article 370 and Article 35A from Kashmir. It is also the first election where a number of, nominations and reservations have been made in the State Assembly for the underprivileged. For instance, the Scheduled Tribes reservation is being made in the State Assembly for the first time. Then we've also seen that of late, the Parliament of India has passed a series of laws in order to ensure that also, the women reservation bill that was nationally passed Provisions of 1/3 reservation for women in the assembly of J&K is also made, as and when, that happens nationally, it will later on also happen for Jammu and Kashmir. And also, we will have to wait and see how these elections pan out, because this will really tell us which way the valley as well as Jammu are headed, because this is also the maiden election for Kashmir and Jammu as UT, because as we know, the states were the state was bifurcated into two UTs in 2019 through the JK reorganization bill. So a lot is at stake in this particular election, but most importantly, it is the expression of the voice of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. These are the people that are voting, that used to vote in the face of bullets, in the face of boycott calls by separatists, and none of that is really being seen in the air in the valley anymore. We have only seen very energetic scenes of campaigns. We have seen, a lot of colorful, flavored canvassing by candidates. And this is a happy sight. This is not just a happy sight for us in the country. I'm sure the whole world is watching this election in Jammu and Kashmir. It's not just an election that we are watching domestically.
Aditi, also, the state has, in fact, hung verdicts in the last 3 polls, if you see. But the million-dollar question in everyone's mind is whether any party or alliance will cross that halfway mark, or 46, or will voters again give a fractured mandate? How do you see the contest?
See, it's a very interesting question and a very difficult question to answer, because you are very right when you say that the voters of the valley have thrown up hung verdicts. In fact, it was this particular hung verdict which brought together two very unlikely partners, as we all know, the BJP and the PDP. And of course, that alliance did not last long because it was not a natural alliance. And now we know that National Conference and Congress Party have allied. And the People's Democratic Party, which strangely is part of the opposition India bloc at the national level, is contesting against NC and Congress alliance in the valley and in Jammu and Kashmir. For instance, we have seen how Waheed Ahmed Para in Pulwama, which is one of the very important key segments in Kashmir, the PDP candidate, the first timer who's also facing UAPA charges and is out on bail, he is being challenged by a former PDP MLA, Khalil Band, who is now with the National Conference. And a very interesting feature of this election, Abhishek, is that a lot of candidates as independents have also been fielded by the Jamaat-e-Islami. Jamaat-e-Islami's party has the backing of Etihad Party, Awami Etihad Party, which is the party of Engineer Rashid. Engineer Rashid is another very interesting person in this particular election, because we all know that he was lodged in Tihar jail and he was recently granted bail in order to canvass in the elections in Kashmir. And he is somebody who is a giant killer, because he defeated the vice president of National Conference in the Baramulla Lok Sabha election in the 2024 cycle. So with the Rashid Engineer on the ground, a number of independents, nearly 90 independents in the fray, a number of these independents from Jamaat itself, it will be very difficult for anybody to say which side the tide is going to turn, because Jamaat-e-Islami's presence on the poll scene of Jammu and Kashmir is significant and it is something new. So how much of the vote do they divide in the valley will actually determine which side will win. For example, Yusuf Tariq, who has been winning Kulgam elections since 1996, is this time facing a very tough contest from a Jamaat-e-Islami independent. So, traditional voters are going to be disturbed, patterns are going to change because of a number of new players in the field, especially the independents. As many as 90 independents, that's an astounding number. And which side will the independents go if they win? That will be another interesting question. Abhishek?
Right, Aditi, like you said, more than 40% of the candidates are independents, and they will definitely play a key role, especially in the valley. But very quickly, Aditi, what's at stake in Jammu and Kashmir's most desperately sought assembly elections, if I can say that, and what is the biggest change it is likely to bring?
See, what is at stake in Jammu and Kashmir is really democracy. You know, whether people are going to get the government that they deserve is very important. Because in these past, since 2019, we have seen a number of changes that have brought development to the valley. We have seen a number of security arrangements that have brought down stone pelting incidents, that have allowed normal life to take shape. Educational institutions are functioning again. Some level of investment is revisiting the valley. Tourism is touching record highs. So, see, a stable government in Jammu and Kashmir is extremely important for the democratic spirit and also for economic prosperity of Jammu and Kashmir to last. And everybody is hoping today that Jammu and Kashmir electorate, I think, 22 lakh people are exercising their franchise today, and at least 35,000 Kashmiri migrants are voting in this election from outside of the valley. In Delhi itself, there are 4 booths that have been set up for Kashmiri migrants to take part in this voting. So the hope from the Jammu and Kashmir election is that the people of the valley will vote wisely and will vote for a strong and stable future.
Absolutely. Stable government, and hope it brings positive changes also. Thank you, Aditi. Thank you for your time.